This week, you are the star of the episode as we answer your questions about transmissions, tires, winter driving, and more. Next on Talking Cars. Hey, welcome back. I'm Keith Barry.
I'm Ryan Pizlikowski.
And I'm Mike Monticello.
And this is a great episode. We love these. This is an all questions episode. So we get a ton of questions from you folks. It is hard to get through them all because there's so many and they're all great. And when you send your questions to talkingcars@icloud.com, we have a backlog of them and we're trying to get through a bunch of them today. So if you're waiting to see your question get answered, keep watching because, you know, this one we might get to you.
Could happen today.
It could happen. So the first one, Julie from California. Let's see.
Love the show, love the mics. I have a question about my 2010 Toyota Venza. It has about 113,000 miles. Dealer told me I needed to change the transmission fluid, but then a friend said you don't want to start messing with that once it's over 100,000 miles. So I need to know the real story. Talk to me. Thanks.
All right, so Julie loves the mics, and she has a question about her Venza. So let's go to one of the mics. The mic we have here today to answer it.
Yeah, so apparently I have a fan. I have one fan.
Okay.
So, Julie, what I would say is, first of all, that's a great question. But what she's going to want to do is listen to her friend, because her friend said, don't change the transmission fluid. If she looked at her maintenance schedule of her manual, it actually says that the dealer should check the transmission fluid every 30, 60, 90, and 120,000 miles. And when they do that, they'll be looking, to see is there any burning smell? Are there any leaks anywhere? And apparently none of that has come up at all. Never in the manual does it ever say anything about changing that transmission fluid, which means it's probably what's called a lifetime transmission fluid. And so what can happen is when you change the transmission fluid this time, it could actually make things worse. And so you kind of want to let things be the way they are inside there and just keep going. It's a Toyota. It's probably going to go to 200,000 miles, honestly, without
If it's
doing
not
anything
broken,
else.
don't fix it.
Exactly. So in this case, just don't change that transmission fluid.
It's like one of those restaurants, like Greasy Spoon place, and they change the fry later oil, and all of a sudden the pancakes
Don't
aren't.
ever do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, it's terrible. All right, our second question is from Chris in Athens, Georgia. In the 2018 Subaru Impreza hatchback road test video, the car is praised for good handling and great reliability scores across categories like engine, major, minor, and transmission. But it only gets a 2 for overall reliability. It seems that this is related to infotainment issues that were addressed in an update. Can I buy this car without hesitation? Would you update the reliability ratings if a recall addresses key issues? So Impreza.
Good question.
Yeah?
This is a good question.
What do you think?
So they did do their homework and they looked up the reliability data. This particular situation, the car actually had a in-car electronics issue. The good news with that is you can update. The dealer can update and fix that. In this particular situation, it was actually a recall. So Subaru has issued a fix for this. I say go buy the car. I wouldn't worry about it. It'll probably be fixed when it comes off the lot because they've already had it at the dealer there. To answer the other part of the question, because it was a recall, it will be updated the next go-around of our reliability data. But as it is right now, that's unfortunately, it came originally came out of the factory that way. There was an issue, and we let people know that because it was an issue. So.
Yeah, and a recall is, still a day off of work. You still have to go and.
Unfortunately, but the rest of every other reliability point was very good or great. So I wouldn't hesitate. It's a good car.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Cool. All right. Cool. All right. Next question. We're getting through these quick. David from Victoria, British Columbia, one of our Canadian contingent of fans. Hello. Hi, folks. Longtime viewer, first-time caller. I like that. My wife drives a 2010 Honda CR-V that's coming up on 100,000 kilometers. See, that's why I mentioned he's from Canada.
That's Canadian.
Yeah, that is Canadian. Everything works fine, but I'm worried about how much life to expect from the car, I hope. What should I be looking out for, or when should we start contemplating replacement? Thanks. Well, I'd be looking out for high blood pressure, sorry.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, definitely.
I've still got a bad thumb.
I'd be worried
Gotta
for
heal
that.
this thing up.
100,000 kilometers, what's that, like 60,000 miles?
62,000 miles. So, I mean, honestly, with a vehicle like this, the CRV has, a strong reliability record. That's basically just breaking it in at this point, 62,000 miles or 100,000 kilometers. So, I mean, I would say there's really nothing to worry about at the present time. I mean, it'll probably go another 100,000 kilometers.
It's a Honda.
Exactly. No, the CRV's been very strong.
Right.
It's nothing to worry about at all. Just keep driving it. And
Of that vintage, that CRV, yeah.
And that vintage, and they're not putting very many kilometers on it per year anyway. I mean, that's, it's a pretty old car.
Yeah.
And they have very low miles or kilometers, whether
Just take care of that thing and it'll go along.
that's the other thing I was going to say. Like, make sure you keep following what your owner's manual says to do as far as scheduled maintenance and services that need to be done, and that thing should just keep on going like a clock.
Yeah. Right. So hold on to your CRV.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Joseph from Columbus, Ohio. I'm wondering, what do you think of the 2008 to 2009 Pontiac G8 GT? Yes. I've heard lots of good things and I'm considering buying one. How has overall reliability held up, and would it be a good purchase? Well, it's a 10-year-old car. Right. So that's kind of the number one thing, the caveat we have to throw on
and
it,
and it's not a Honda.
Nope. It is a Pontiac.
Or a Toyota.
Right.
Yeah. But
It's so fun.
yeah.
Honestly,
fun.
just get it. Just get it. That's a great car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to drive. It's a V8 rear-wheel drive, comfortable sedan.
It's like
it
a
doesn't get any better than that.
four-door Corvette.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
I mean, you could also, get a Chevrolet SS if you wanted to get something, like a newer version.
Which they made up until like last year.
Yeah, 2017. But, if he's thinking about, getting this GHET, and it seems like it's in pretty good shape. That's another thing. I think it seems like I was doing a little looking around online and looking at what people said about the reliability of their car and stuff. And every owner that I looked at loved their car. So I think there's a good chance you're going to buy it from someone who loved their car, cared about their car. So think about looking at, the owner, making sure the owner seems pretty reputable. And if you get a good vibe from that owner and the car looks pretty good, I say go for it.
Yeah.
And parts availability, I know Pontiac doesn't exist anymore. And this was, correct me if I'm, this is built in Australia.
Right, yeah.
But parts for Holden are still being
Absolutely,
made.
yeah.
You can still get parts for it. It's not an issue.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Go
Yeah.
get it. So Davina has driven a 2015 Ford Fusion Hybrid, moved from California to Colorado. I read your article on all-weather tires, and I'm really interested in them. Lucky we have our tire guy here with us. After weeks of searching, I haven't been able to find the Nokian or the Celsius. Are there any other all-weather tires that you'd recommend?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there's a handful of companies making these all-weather tires now. These are tires that have very good snow traction and winter capabilities, but they're not straight up snow tires, so you can leave them on year round, which is attractive to people that don't want to store these and do the winter changeover, blah, blah, blah. So, the Nokian obviously was the originator. They came out with this type of tire. Toyo followed not long after, and now
The
Goodyear
Toyo was the Celsius, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Toyo Celsius, yeah. Not long after, though, Goodyear makes one now. Michelin makes one. Even Vredestein makes one. Not a lot. That's only 5, I guess. But this time of the year, you're getting into that seasonal time, so this stuff is starting to sell quick. My advice would be look online. Big major retailers like Tire Rack, Discount Tire, Direct. Even go to local places and ask them, they'll order you tires.
Right.
Don't expect to go into a dealer and them to have exactly what you want right then and there that day.
Yeah, these are pretty new and kind of...
And there's hundreds and hundreds of tire sizes. There's so many different vehicles, there's a million different sizes out there. They can't stock all these. They're not going to have everything you want when you walk in there. They're just not. And in the past, I've bought tires, I've gone into a Sears and said, I want this tire. Order it for me. And I came back, a week later I come back, I skipped the line, I walk right in, and it was a pleasant...
And as far as the actual size, these are, I think, 17s and 18s on the Ford Fusion Hybrids.
I did a little
Sometimes
I did a little looking online, and I was able to find a couple of those different ones in both sizes. So
what you might have to do is order it, and then I've done. I think we've all done it. We've all ordered it, and then you just go to a local shop to have them mounted,
put them on.
and they put them on, and that might be the way that you have to do it with these tires. But overall, recommend them. Do you think think they'll be good for living in Colorado?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a solid choice. They're very good in the snow, and you can leave them on year round.
Very cool. All right, so I hope that helps. Vincent asks about the Mazda CX-9. I've been thinking about buying a 2019, but I have concerns about CR's predicted reliability rating of less than average. I understand it might be the case for the previous generations when Mazda was a joint venture with Ford, but the all-new 2016 version is Mazda's own vehicle. Why the predicted rating? Why is it less than average when it has been a pretty reliable vehicle based on my online research? So a couple of things to fix there other than my reading.
Well, yeah, I mean, so the first thing is that, you know, the predicted reliability that he's been seeing on the CX-9 is on the current generation, which was redesigned in 2016. It's not based on a previous CX-9. And the other thing is that our predicted reliability scores get updated every year. So what was the case for 2018 may not be the case for 2019. The 2019 reliability data hasn't come out yet.
I actually just talked to Anita Lamb, who does our reliability scores for us, and she was mentioning that it's kind of a specific issue with an older CX-9, and these car companies, regardless of who it is, when something like that happens, they make changes to these cars. So you might want to, for the 2019, you know, we have reliability scores updated coming out soon. You might want to
just wait a little bit.
Wait and check.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, you know, it's important to understand what the predicted reliability is, which is that it's a forecast of what that new car might be, what it might do reliability-wise based on data from our annual auto survey. So if people don't know that, we're not just making these scores up. This is based on data from our members, from CR members, that have answered questions and told people how their car performed, and that's where that data comes from. We don't just decide, you know, based on our own test car, what the reliability of the car is. That's based on data from CR members.
So, Vincent, stay tuned. Essentially, ask us again in our next All
Questions
Questions
it's a great
episode.
driving vehicle.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No, we like it,
Lane says, "Howdy, CR." So must have seen my shirt because it's a little bit of a rodeo.
I can see it.
This is my first rodeo, actually. We are a small family of two and have been thinking about entering the luxury sports sedan segment. Top contenders are the new Volvo S60 T6, the Audi S4, and the BMW 340i.
Lane.
Would you recommend leasing or buying this caliber vehicle, taking into account most of its life would be spent garaged? Thank you.
I want to thank Lane for wanting a sports sedan, keeping it alive.
Yeah.
They're slowly trickling away on us.
Hopefully Elaine will spend a good portion of the time driving the car too, though, not just sitting in the garage.
Good question.
Exactly. Yeah, and especially in beautiful San Diego, there's never going to be a time where you can't take the car out. So we got 3 cars here. Let's pick a car. I know that wasn't part of the question. We have to do that.
Yeah, we got to start there.
We got to start with a car.
340i for me. And these are kind of different animals. I mean, the S4 and the 340 are, you know, on the sportier side, but I'll take the 340. It's rear-wheel drive, fun to drive.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on this. 340i for me because it's rear-wheel drive. You can get it all-wheel drive if you need to. The S4 is only all-wheel drive. 340i you can get with a manual transmission.
This is the last time you can do that.
S4 you can't.
Yeah.
And the 340i is just a more precise, more fun to drive.
It's sportier.
Sportier car. You know, they both have great engines. You know, one has a turbocharged V6, the other has a turbocharged inline 6. You know, BMW's inline 6 is famous for its smoothness, and so long story, I'd go with 340i.
As far as buying versus leasing, I did a little research on that, and I mean, for a car like this, you can sometimes get some incredible deals with a lease. They'll put some money on it, incentives on it to move these cars that wouldn't otherwise be on if you bought the car. So that's one good thing about it. The other good thing about it is that you know, some of these cars are pretty complex and things can go wrong with them. And if you're leasing it, chances are it's going to be under warranty the whole time that you have it. And then once things start to go wrong, it's somebody else's problem. Or you can buy it out if you love it that much and hold on to it. So lease the 340i Lane, right?
Yes.
That's what we're going with.
That's what we're going with. Okay. Sticking with stick shifts, we have a question from Jose. I'm trying to get into driving a stick shift. What car would you recommend to learn on? And do you think it's a good idea to learn on a new car versus a used car? I'm considering a GTI, and I currently own a Jetta. So what did you first learn? What did you both first learn to drive a stick on?
Go ahead, Mike.
I actually learned on a GTI.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
And how was
yeah.
it?
Well, my friend needed
what
a new.
generation was it?
It was an 01 with a VR6.
Okay.
And my friend needed a new clutch by the time I was. But I was, it was. I'm by now it's much better.
I learned on a Volvo turbo diesel from the 80s. And,
Oh, boy.
And that was so I learned to drive in that car and I learned to drive a manual in that car because learned the same thing, both things at the same time. And that was a very easy car to learn on, even though I would say, first of all, you want to learn on a used car if you can, or someone else's car. But in this case, the turbo diesel has so much low-end torque, you barely needed to give it any throttle.
it won't
You
stall.
could basically just let out the clutch and you're going. The downside to that is that when I got into my uncle's Supra, I stalled it all the time because it has a much more sensitive throttle.
Right.
So I would say learn on a used car.
Learn on your friend's car.
Learn on your friend's car. If you learn on an easy car, like a turbo diesel or something like that, it's going to be easier at the beginning. But if you learn on a harder car, then you're probably going to be a better driver in the end, because you're going to get used to being able to have the ability to drive many different types of manual transmission cars.
Yeah. Just jump in one and figure it out.
Yeah, it can be kind of hard to find one. I mean, they're
That's
hard
the
to
other
find them
thing.
as a rental.
They don't exist. I mean, I learned on
Yeah.
an 87 BMW 325e, actually.
Cool.
My dad handed me down to me when I was learning how to drive. And
Was that the car
that
you
was my
learned
first
to
car.
drive
That was the
on
car
as
I
well?
learned how to drive on.
Okay.
No stability control, nothing. It was a hoot in the winter, but that's how I learned to drive.
That's when you started getting sideways?
A little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, Jose, keep the save the manuals. Yeah, I mean the GTI. We think that's VW is kind of a buttery, nice, smooth.
Yeah,
It's actually a really
Yeah.
nice car to learn on.
Yeah, it is.
It's not bad.
So that's great. And there are cars that are better than others, like you said. But
Yep.
I mean, another way to do it is just buy the thing and you have to get home. So
Yeah, force yourself.
that's
Yeah,
one
just
way to
throw
do
yourself
it.
right in it. Yeah.
All right. Brian says, so we had a question for someone who loves the mics. This guy hates the mics. I've noticed the progression of mics you've used. I'll cut to the chase. The desk mics block your faces. Why do you continue with them? I love the show. I don't see what you're talking about. These things are
These things work.
completely necessary.
You know what I think? I think our producer is trying to block the faces of like you and me by trying to show off Ryan over
might
there.
be somewhat helpful. Yes.
He doesn't want to see our faces.
It's those of you who are listening to this in the car audio,
It's perfect for them.
nice visual gag for you. All right. Thanks, Brian. Lorena from Portland. I'm not sure, Oregon, Maine, who knows? But Lorena's in the market for a new plug-in hybrid. I've honed in on the Honda Clarity and the Kia Optima plug-in hybrid. I'm torn because the Clarity has almost twice the all-electric range, but it doesn't have some of the nicer features like the panoramic sunroof and the vented seats. Oh, and this is an interesting commute here.
Right.
I make a 90-mile commute several times a month, but most of my driving is under 8 miles a day. How much do you value features over range, and are there any other cars that I've missed? So that's interesting. That's an interesting 90 miles. You're going to want to be comfortable.
It's a good question. Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
far enough where, at least when you get there, you want to be able to plug it in. Otherwise, you're going to get some real range anxiety on the
Oh,
way
that's
back.
if you get an electric. I mean,
Yeah.
these are cars with gas
Yeah,
engines.
I'm sorry, straight up electric. But,
Yeah.
I don't care for the Clarity.
Yeah.
I would do maybe a Prius Prime, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Clarity either. I mean, one of the great things about the Clarity is that you can go, when we tested it, 48 miles on electric range, which is pretty darn good.
Mile 49 is pretty dismal.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
obvious.
the engine's very loud, it's very raucous, the handling's kind of awkward, the steering's sluggish. It looks goofy. I mean, that's
I like the
a
look of
personal
it.
opinion.
I like the look. It looks like a Citroen CX.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, you
but-
also
But yeah,
chose
I'm
to wear
also
that shirt,
strange.
so.
Exactly. But for someone, so Lorena, if you like this polo shirt, maybe you'd want to go with the Kia Optima plug-in hybrid.
Or a Prius Prime.
Yeah, or a Prius Prime.
Yeah, I like the
Or-
Prius Prime. I mean,
Yeah, the Prius Prime.
When I saw this question, I also thought, 90 miles, I mean, you can easily do that on something like, all-electric car like a Chevy Bolt.
Right.
The Chevy Bolt's really fun to drive. The downside is the ride is kind of stiff. And the
seats are a little-
After
yeah.
90 miles in those seats probably wouldn't be great. So, but that is a thought. Like if you got an all-electric, even if it didn't, couldn't go the huge range of the Bolt, if you could plug it in at work, you could, when you do that 90-mile day, you could still get back home.
Yeah.
That's another thought.
So basically, skip the Clarity, but
Yeah, I would skip that.
But yeah, try the Prius Prime.
Yeah.
right, we got some more questions here. We have one from Jordan who asks, why does it seem like European vehicles get better mileage compared to their American counterparts? Do they have a different way they calculate their scores? Lightning round, yes. Yes, they do.
Solved. Move on to the next
solved.
question.
Well, to be fair, there are cars with more fuel-saving features, three-cylinder engines, not as powerful, smaller engines, but they also do test differently.
Yes.
So that's why it's comparing apples to palms. Yeah, melanzanas to apples. Is that apple? I don't know. Either way. David,
way over my head here.
David says you've reviewed. Oh, this is a good question. I like this one. David B. Good question. You've reviewed the Toyota 8-speed automatic transmission in the Sienna, Highlander, Camry, and most recently in the Avalon, where you assigned it a 5 out of 5 rating for its smooth performance. You weren't impressed with this transmission in the Sienna, Highlander, or Camry. Has Toyota, in your opinion, finally gotten their act together? David is trying to catch us up, but I think we're
going to have to catch David on something.
Yeah.
David's wrong about something, which is the Avalon that we tested is actually, is a hybrid. So it has a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. So it does not have that 8-speed automatic transmission.
But we did drive.
We rented an Avalon with the V6 and the 8-speed automatic and from Toyota. And what's important to note is that, while we can't give a number to its transmission score yet because we haven't tested it yet, we did find that it actually worked quite well. But Toyota does different transmission calibrations for the Toyota Avalon and the Lexus ES350.
Which also has the same,
That's common in all manufacturers. I mean, they might use the same transmission, but it's going to be different in other vehicles.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's also important to note that there was a technical service bulletin, a TSB, for the 2017 Toyota Sienna and Toyota Highlander. We had those two cars here. We tested them. We thought there was a little bit of issues with the transmission. It didn't, it let the car rev out much higher than seemed natural. And so we brought the cars in. There's a fix that Toyota can do to make the transmission work a little better. So if you have a car and it's not a Sienna or a Highlander,
it's shifting rough.
Especially it was the early builds of those.
Yeah.
Toyota can
fix it.
Toyota has a fix for that.
Software update, just like your phone.
Yep.
Yeah, great question, David. We like questions like that. Ones where Mike gets to show off.
Well, ones where we can help someone realize that
your life can be better.
Not that they're wrong. But that that just they were confused about what transmission it had. And it's very important to note that the continuously variable transmission is completely different than an 8-speed automatic.
Right. Yeah. So our last question, we only have time for one more, but we promise in future episodes, if this next person, if you're not Chris R., we'll get to your question another time. Chris R. asks, the Air Force is moving me from San Diego, California to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Besides buying, wave to who, we had someone else from San Diego. Wave to that person as you're leaving, driving around on the 340. Besides buying a jacket, we're also looking at cars. I have a 2016 Kia Forte 5, but my wife is concerned about bad weather performance. We foster dogs and have 2 teenagers in the house. I'm looking for a fun driving vehicle that's good in bad weather and has plenty of space. Any suggestions? Well, the Forte 5 is pretty tight for 4 people and a dog.
Right.
So we don't have to go to any big SUVs here, I don't think.
No. So and I mean, you could make that Forte work with some snow tires and a little bit of practice driving in the snow. But I mean, if you're not, because the Forte is not that big, I would say like a Mazda CX-5 is awesome. It's fun to drive. I mean, that's my go-to for a lot of my friends are always asking for their wives, their girlfriends, like, a little SUV all-wheel drive. What do you think? And the CX-5 is fun to drive. It's good looking.
Your friends don't ask for themselves?
No.
They know better than to ask you?
Yeah, they drive trucks in New England.
Okay. What about you?
So first of all, Chris, thank you for your service. But when I saw that and I saw 2 teenagers fostering dogs, I thought immediately SUV just because the taller roof, the
ground clearance too. Wyoming, it can. I've been out there and you can get some serious. Yeah.
So I kind of was in Ryan's boat there with the CX-5, and I also thought Mazda CX-9 because if we are talking about he did say he wants a lot of space.
Right.
So maybe CX-9, again, there have been some reliability issues with that. And then I kind of had a wild card, which was, a used BMW 5 Series Gran Turismo. Remember what you know what that car? It's got the hatchback.
Yeah. So the dog would have to be one of those ones with the slanted nose.
No,
so it could go up
there's
to the,
actually quite a
the
bit of room back there.
schnauzers,
There's
yeah.
actually quite a bit of room back
Yeah?
there.
That is
Okay.
an ugly car, though.
Yeah.
It is an ugly car, but it's fun to drive.
That
and
is
you
a
can
wild
get it, You
car.
can get it all-wheel drive.
You can probably get it cheap because it's
gonna
about
say,
as
they're
ugly
probably-
as that shirt.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, now you're being hurtful.
Oh shucks. My choice is a Subaru.
Big surprise, huh?
Yeah, big surprise. Hi-yo. We've got two choices. I'd say the Crosstrek is kind of a little more the size of the Kia Forte, but it has that ground clearance and it's got the all-wheel drive. Or you could go up to the Forester. And the nice thing about the Forester, that thing has incredible visibility. Those windows, it's like you're
super
driving in a
practical.
greenhouse.
Yeah.
And when you're out, it's beautiful out in Wyoming. I don't know if you've ever been out. It's gorgeous.
You want to be able to see out the windows.
It's like a postcard, so you want to be able to see out.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good
Yeah,
point.
so get
true.
that and pay, and you can look for the moose that are crossing. Make sure you don't visibility. It's important. Cool. So Chris, you got a bunch of suggestions. I hope we didn't confuse you anymore. If you have a question for us, talkingcars@icloud.com. If you don't want to listen to me stumble through reading these, send a video. You'll be as famous as we are, and you can tell your friends you're on the coolest podcast you can get. So thanks for watching, listening. Talkingcars@icloud.com. We'll see you soon.